Good morning, students. In our last class, we have discussing that is the respiratory system. What is the respirator? What is respiration? And here breathing. And I have discussed the types of the respirations. So here breathing means it is a physiological process where here an exchanging of gases are taken place. So that exchanging of gases between environment to the body, from body to the environment, that is we can call that as a breathing. And here respiration means the food is oxidized. That means the oxidation of food materials which can produce energy in the form of NADP. Then this type of structure or this process we can call as an respiration. So there are two types here based on their availability of or presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen. These are classified into two types. One is aerobic and anaerobic. And also here exchanging of gases, based on the exchanging of gases, here there are direct and indirect. Direct means here is body through general body surface. By the diffusion through the general body surface is taken place, we can call as direct respiration, or through the respiratory organs. If the exchange of gases are taken place through the respiratory and organs, then such type of process we can call as an indirect respiration. And now coming to the respiratory organs present in different animals. So here the respiratory organs, the respiratory organs in different animals, or we can use different structures. That means respiratory organs of different structures we can take in place. So here different organs, that means respiratory organs are mainly helpful for the exchanging of gases. These are mainly helpful for the exchanging. These are mainly helpful for the exchanging of gases, where these are thin, moist and highly or richly vascularized layers, which are these are thin. That means the structure, the respiratory structures which are present in the different organisms will having they are thin as well as they are moisture will be presenting, and also they are a rich amount of blood supply will be taken place. So we can call them as a rich vascularized layers. And first you taken place, the first one is through the general body surfaces. If we second place, first one general body surface. So in the lower organisms, lower invertebrates, here animals like amoeba, paramecium, the sponges and coelentrates, and platyhelminthes, and also an ascihelminthes. In these, what happens here? The exchanging of gases, exchanging of gases are taken place by the diffusion through general body surface, through through a general body surface. So here through the body surface, that is general body surface, here exchanging of gases are taken place. So here these are the general body surface is an exchanging of gases are taken place in lower organs like protozoans or peripherans, sponges, coelenterate, platyhelminthes. And in some platyhelminthes, they undergoes the anaerobic respiration if they are parasites. If they are parasites, if they are parasite undergoes an anaerobic respiration. That means in the absence of oxygen, here these organisms will undergo. So here in the absence of oxygen, if they undergo such type of respiration, we can call as an anaerobic respiration. And secondly, if you see in second one, that is if it taken place by a cutaneous respiration, cutaneous respiration. That means here a cutaneous respiration means respiration is taken place by the skin. If respiration is taken place by the skin is called as the cutaneous respiration. An example, if it taken place an earthworm, a leech, and also here this that is a frog. So here these are the and etc. So here while having the respiration is taken place, that means here the skin is a very moist, thin, that means skin is moistured and also having a rich supply of blood vessels are taken place, where here the respiration is taken place by the the respiration is taken place by the skin. So these type of organisms we can call them as the cutaneous respiratory organs. Where here skin is the respiratory, that means here the skin is an respiratory organs. So here that is mainly taken place by the skin only, that is earthworm, leech and a frog. I means here will having a rich amount of blood supply will be taken place. So here these are the organisms which is taken place by the skin. So this process we can call as a cutaneous respiration. Next, if you see in here, that is a bronchial respiration. If you see in here, the third one is a bronchial respiration. A bronchial respiration. So here bronchial respiration means the respiration is taken place. Respiration is taken place by the gills. So here gills are the respiratory and organs. So here the respiration is mainly taken place with the help of gills. Then such type of respirations are called as the bronchial respiration. Where an example, if you see an example, all fishes and also the tadpole larva of frog, and also bivalves are mussels. These are an example where here the respiration is and also if you taken place the prawn, crabs and oysters. So here these are the where here it has taken place. That means in crustaceans also here it helpful for prawn. That means if they are living in water, then the respiratory organs are the main respiratory organs are the gills. If the respiration is mainly taken place with the help of gills, then we can call as the bronchial respiration. So if it is taken place by skin, we can call as the cutaneous respiration. If the respiration is taken place by the gills, we can call as the bronchial respiration. Next, coming to that is the tracheal respiration. Tracheal means here the tracheae are the respiratory organs, wherely here these are mostly seen in an arthropodons. These are seen in an arthropodons. What are that now will be discussed. Next, coming to the third, that is the third one, the fourth one, that is the tracheal respiration. Tracheal respiration. Here tracheal respiration means respiration is taken place, the respiration is taken place, the respiration is taken place by the tracheae. Tracheae are the spiracles, present in arthropodons. Especially that is in insects. It is insects like insects and centipedes and millipedes. So here an opening and exteriorly and openings are presenting. That exterior openings which are present in the insects, we can call them as a spiracles. That is, these are an external openings which are enters into the internal body, where here exchanging of gases is taken place through the spiracles. So here respiration is taken place with the help of trachea. In the trachea will having a specialized exterior openings are presenting. These are an exterior openings. These are an exterior as well as interior openings. Interior openings, exterior and interior openings. So they are called as spiracles. So through these spiracles, here the respiration is taken place. So this type of respiration is called as the tracheal respiration, where it is seen in an arthropodons like cockroaches, as insects, mainly in insects like a cockroach. If you see best example, cockroach will having an spiracles are presenting, and also in centipedes and millipedes these are presenting, where through these spiracles here exterior the openings are, that means through these spiracles the exchanging of gases are taken place. So this type of process we can call as a tracheal respiration. That means these are present in trachea only. But that tracheas are, that means in the trachea will having an openings are presenting, that opening is called as spiracles. Through these spiracles here the exchanging of gases are taken place. So we can call that as a tracheal respiration. Next, coming to the fifth one, if you see, that is a book lungs. A book lungs. Here the book lungs means here these are arranged parallelly sheet-like structures like a book, leaves of books, how they are presenting. Here the lungs are arranged in the form of a book-like, parallelly arranged. The sheets of a book is called as a book lungs, where is seen in this can be seen in spiders and scorpions. Here the exchanging of gases are taken place. Their respiration is taken place. Respiration is taken place by the book lungs. book lungs which are arranged parallel to the one another like leaves of a book. So it is called as a book lungs, where here we can see, it can be seen in sticks, scorpions and spiders and the scorpions. So in these organisms will having a specialized structures are presenting. That means the lungs are arranged in the parallel to the one another like leaves of a books. That means the pages which are present in a book like a book, here the lungs are arranged like pages of a book. So we can call them as a book lungs, where here it is taken place, the exchanging of gases is taken place in the leaves of a books is taken place. So we can call as a book lungs. Examples are the sticks, the spiders, as well as in scorpions. These are presenting where these are helpful for exchanging of materials. So such type of structures are called as a book lungs. Next, coming to the last one, that is the lungs. So here the respiratory organs, if the respiration is taken place through the help of respiratory organs, so we can call them as the lungs. So we can call them as the lungs, where here it is taken place by the respiratory organs. So here the respiration is taken place. The respiration is taken place. Respiration is taken place by the lungs. So here the main respiratory organs are the lungs in all terrestrial vertebrates. All example, if you see in all the terrestrial in all the terrestrial vertebrates, here the lungs are the respiratory organs, and in invertebrates, terrestrial invertebrates, and also the terrestrial invertebrates like a snail, snails. Here we will having the respiratory organs or the lungs. So here the main respiratory organs through the lungs, here exchanging of gases are taken place. So here that are called as the in all terrestrial vertebrates, that is if you say in reptiles, aves and mammals will having the lungs or the respiratory organs, where here exchanging of gases are taken place. So these are the different type of respiratory organs which are presenting in our in an animals, where we will having a different type of respiratory organs are presenting. Now coming to the next one, that is here how the respiration, that means here how the respiration is taken place, respiratory systems in humans. Now will be discussed the respiratory system in humans. The respiratory system. The respiratory system in humans. So here in humans, how the respiration is taken place means here the respiration is taken place. That means here exchanging of gases, that means what are the air enters, oxygen is taken place, that is how the enters of oxygen, and where the exchanging of gases are taken place, again the carbon dioxide is leaving out. So here the exchanging of gases are taken place in the respiration through the help of lungs only. So here there are different parts are presenting in the respiratory system, where here the respiratory system in humans is classified into two zones. It is classified. It is classified into two zones. It is classified into two zones, such as one we can call as, first one we can call as a conducting zone. Here the first one is called as a conducting zone, and the second one is called as the respiratory zone. So here in this conducting means it is helpful for the transporting of, that means in this conductive zone these are helpful the transporting of gases from nostrils, that is outer side of the body. You will having a pair of nostrils are present, nose is presenting. From the nose it passes into the lungs. So here when passing it having different regions are presenting, where here in the conducting zone will having, that means these are helpful for the conduction. Conduction means transporting of gases and into the respiratory zone, that is into the lungs. So here in the conducting zone we will having the nostrils, from nostrils to the pharynx, pharynx to the larynx, larynx to the tracheae, tracheae to the bronchi. So up to this bronchi we can call that as the that is a conducting zone. That means in this conducting zone, in a conducting zone it is a passage of the air into the body, and also the living air into the body, allowing that the air enters into the body and leaving the air outside the body, outside the body is called as a conducting zone. In this conducting zone will having the first one is a nostrils, and second one is the pharynx, the larynx, the tracheae, and last one is a bronchi. So these are the different parts which are presenting in the conducting zone. From that it is passes into the lungs, where here exchanging of gases are taken place. So that exchanging of gases which is taken place, we can call that as the respiratory zones. Now we will go, firstly we will discuss the conducting zone, later we will discuss that is a respiratory zones. Understand? So this is where we can take place, that is mainly that is conducting as well as the respiratory zones. Now coming to the conducting zone. So here conducting, it is meant for passage or movement of air, So here it is a zone where it is helpful for the passaging, that is passaging of air and or passage of air, that is movement of air will be taken place. So this zone we can call as a conducting zone. So in this zone the first one is the nostrils. So here a pair of nostrils, and a pair of nostrils. A pair of nostrils are presenting where here we can call them as an external nasal cavities or external nasals. So here a pair of that is here the nose, or otherwise you can call them as the nose also. A pair of nostrils are the nose. So here a nose will having a two pair, that means a pair of nostrils are presenting that are separated. The two nose is separated by two internasal septums. That is the nose is divided by the two nostrils by the internasal septum. The nose is divided by divided into two external nostrils, two external nares or nostrils, and two external nostrils, nares or nostrils by the internasal septum, by the internasal septum. So with the help of an internasal septum, the nose is divided into two parts. These two parts we can call, but means this is a nose, where here the nose is divided by an division. That division is called as an internasal septum. So with the help of an internasal septum, the nose is divided into two nasals, or we can call them as two external nostrils. Where here these external nostrils which are presenting, it is divided into three regions. It is divided into three regions. One is called as the vestibular region, and second one is the respiratory region. The respiratory region, and third one is the olfactory. That is an olfactory region. So these are the three regions where these are presenting. That is the vestibular region. It is an anterior part of the nose. It is an anterior part of the nose, where here will have, it is made up of pseudo-stratified ciliated and epithelial cells. These are helpful for that means here this is it is the anterior part of the nostrils, and it is made up of a pseudo-stratified and epithelial layers, where it is helpful for the filtration of the air. It is a filtrate the air. So here it consists of, that means it is an anterior part of the and region where it is made up of a pseudo-stratified and epithelial layers. It is made up of a pseudo-stratified epithelial meant for a filtration. It is meant for filtrate or a filtration. It is meant for the filtration of the air. And the second one is the respiratory zone. It is the middle part of the nostrils, where here it having a glandular and a vascularized layer. It is the middle part. It is the middle part of the nostrils. It is the middle part of the nostrils, where it is a glandular and also the vascular layers, vascularized layer meant for, which is meant for a warmth of the an air. That means here warmth means here it becomes a warm of the an air. That region we can call as the respiratory regions. And also here, and the olfactory region, it is the posterior part. It is the posterior part of the nostrils. It is the posterior part of the nostrils. It is the sensory in nature. Sensory in nature. It is a sensory in nature. Sensory is nature, which meant for the olfaction. Which meant for olfaction. Olfaction means here it helpful for knowing the smell of the substances. Olfaction means knowing the smell. It is olfaction means knowing the smell of the substances. That means if you know the substances, that means the smell is mainly taken place with the help of a nose only. So here these are in an olfactory in nature. Olfaction means knowing the smell of the particles or substances. So here the nose is mainly meant for the olfaction, that is knowing the smell of the substances. So if you see in here the functions of the nostrils. If you see in the functions of the nostrils, these are meant for the olfaction, warming, moisturing and filtration. So here these are the functions. If we coming to the functions of nostrils, these are olfactory, olfaction, moistening, olfaction, moistening, warming and filtration. So here the filtration, these are the functions which is performed by the nostrils, where olfaction means knowing the smell of the substances, and the second one moisturing. That means when air enters into this, here it moist the air. That means the cool air will be converted into a warm air, where here filtered. That means in the nostrils will having the airs are presenting. This way the air is helpful for the filtration. If any dust particles are enters, or dust particles are harmful germs are entering, here they are sticking to the moist substances, so that here the dust particles and harmful germs are stick to the nostrils, so that air present in a vestibular region. So that here what happens, only the air only will enter, that is it helpful for the filtration. That means fresh air will enter into the nostrils. The dust particles, if it does not allows, it does not helpful for, it does not allows the dust particles as well as the harmful germs which are present in the nostrils. That is mainly filter will be taken place in the vestibular regions, where it consists of a pseudostratified and epithelial, that is pseudostratified, ciliated epithelial cells are presenting. Here ciliated, here we are having the ciliated, pseudostratified, ciliated, the ciliated and epithelial cells are presenting. So that your hair-like structures are presenting. These are meant for the filtration. That is a main function which is performed by the nostrils, where it is divided into three regions: vestibular, respiratory, and also the olfaction. So here in respiratory it is a middle part and helpful for the warm. Means the cool air is converted into a warm air. So that is mainly taken place in the respiratory zone, and olfactory lobe is helpful for knowing the smell of the substances. That is, these are the three functions which is performed by the nostrils. Next, coming to the second one, that is the pharynx. Now coming to the pharynx. Now coming to the second one, that is the pharynx. So here it is a muscular tube which is length of the it is a muscular tube which length about 12 centimeters, and it is also called as a naso-oral cavity. Also it is called as a naso-oral cavity. It is also called as the naso-oral cavity. That means here in between it is presenting in between the nasal cavity as well as oral cavity, so that here it is presenting between the nose, it is present behind the nose, but here it is a combination of both nostrils and the oropharynx, that is mouth is opened. So here common passage, so it is also called as naso-oral cavity also, and it is differentiated into three regions. It is differentiated into three regions. It is differentiated into three regions. So here the first region, that means of the first region it is differentiated. It is divided into three regions. It is divided into three regions. First one is the first one is called as naso-oral cavity. The first one is nasopharynx. First one is the nasopharynx. The second one is the oropharynx. And the third one is laryngopharynx. So these are the three regions. That means the anterior part of the that is the anterior part of the pharynx. It is an anterior part. An anterior part. The anterior part is called as nasopharynx, and the middle part or middle region is called as oropharynx, and the third one is called as the laryngopharynx, that is the posterior part. The posterior part or region. This laryngopharynx, laryngopharynx is a common passage for the food and the air. So here the laryngopharynx, here it is a common passage. It is a common passage. It is a common passage for food and the air. So here it is a common passage for food and air. So this type of structure is called as the laryngopharynx, where it is a posterior part. That means it is connected, the last part of the pharynx is connected to the larynx. So you can call as a laryngopharynx, where it is a common passage. Why you can call as a common passage means pharynx we can call as a common passage. Why means it is helpful for the allowing of the air as well as the food materials. So food is passes through the pharynx as well as the air also will passes through the pharynx. So here it is a common passage for food and air. So we can call as a common passage, that is a laryngopharynx is a common passage for food and the air. And also here in the laryngopharynx, here we are having an opening is presenting that opening which is presenting is called as the glottis. The glottis. So what is glottis means? Above the pharynx will having then opening is presenting, that opening which is presenting above the larynx, and about the laryngopharynx is called as the glottis. Above the glottis will having a lid-like structure, that is a fibroelastic, a cartilage is presenting above the glottis. Above the glottis has lid-like structure which is a fibroelastic cartilage. So that fibric elastic cartilage is called the epiglottis. It is called as an epiglottis. So what is epiglottis means? It is a lid-like structure which is presenting above the pharynx. So that lid-like structure which is made up of a fibroelastic cartilages. So it is made up of a cartilage where it is presenting above the cartilage. That means the opening which is present in the pharynx, the opening we can call as the glottis. Above the glottis will having a lid-like structure. For what means here what is the function of the epiglottis means it prevents. What is the function means? It prevents the entry of food particles into the nasal cavity. Here what is the main function of epiglottis means epiglottis function. Epiglottis function means here it prevents the entry of the food particles into the nasal cavity. That means what is the main function of the epiglottis means it prevents the entry of, that means the food particles, if the food particles are enters into the nasal cavity, what happens here we are able to get a severe cough is produced. I mean if food is enters into the lungs, here the exchanging of gases are not be taken place. So it prevents the entry of food particles. When food enters into the nasal cavity means here an indication will be shown. What is that indication means? Here we are able to get a severe cough is produced. When cough is produced means the food is enters into the nasal cavity. So due to the cough is an reflective reaction. It is a reflex reaction, so that the food which is enters into the nasal cavity that will comes back to the nose, or sometimes it comes to the nose. Through the nose also the food particles will be produced outside. That is mainly due to the a function which is performed by the epiglottis. So when food is taken place, epiglottis will be closed. The epiglottis will be closed so that the food will not be entered into the glottis. So for example, food enters into the glottis, what is the indication means here a severe cough is produced. So due to the producing of the cough, we can indicate, it shows that the food is entered into the nasal cavity. So by severe cough, the food particles will comes back to the mouth, or sometimes through the nose also the food particles will be produced. That is mainly function which is performed by the epiglottis, that is they prevents the entry of food particles. That means above the laryngopharynx will having an opening is presenting, the opening we can call as the glottis, and above the glottis will having a lid like structure is presenting, that is a fibroelastic a cartilage is presenting, which prevents it acts as a lid. Opening and closing will be taken place. When food is taken place, that is closed. When food is not taken place, that is opened, so that the air will enter. So this is how it is taken place. It is a fibroelastic a cartilage which prevents the entry of food particles. So this is a region that is we can call as the second region, that is a pharynx. Next, coming to the third one, the third one is the larynx. Here the third one, that means the pharynx is connected to the next muscular tube. That muscular tube is called as a pharynx, which is about 5 centimeters in length. It is presenting, where in this larynx will consist of the tracheae. It consists of a trachea, and it is larynx is made up of cartilages. 9 cartilages. These are made up of 9 cartilages, and also here will having tracheae, a C-shaped structures of cartilages are presenting, that is called as a tracheae. And the tracheae is again it is divided into 2 structures called as a bronchi, where it is enters into the which enters into the chest cavity or into the lungs, that is into the chest cavity, that will be discussed. Now coming to the third one, that is the larynx, or otherwise it is called as the voice box also. Here it is connected, that is from the behind the nose, that is presenting, it is presenting behind the nose, sorry, it is presenting beside, that means after the pharynx it is presenting, where it is 5 centimeters in length. It is 5 centimeters in length. It is 5 centimeters in length, where here it is present behind the esophagus. And also here in this it consists of, it is also called as voice box. Means why it is called as voice box means here it consists of the larynx, that is here will consist of a vocal cords are presenting. Vocal cords. Here due to the presence of the vocal cords. Here due to the presence of vocal cords. Here these vocal cords, the vibration of, due to the vibration of vocal cords, here a sound is producing, so that it is also called as the voice box. That means you are able to talk with one another. That is mainly due to the presence of the vocal cords. Due to the vibration of the vocal cords, here the sound is produced. So due to the producing of sound, we can able to speak with one another. That is here sound is producing, so due to the producing of the sound we can call as voice is produced. So due to the voice is produced from this region, that is in the larynx region will having the vocal cords are presenting. Due to the presence of the vocal cords, due vibration of these vocal cords, here sound is producing. So this type of these structures or this type we can call as the voice box. And also here in larynx will consist of 9 cartilages are presenting. It consists of 9 cartilages. That 9 cartilages are divided into paid cartilages as well as the unpaid cartilages. The paid cartilages are, one is arytenoids. Paid cartilages are arytenoids, corniculates as well as cuneiforms. These are the 3 types of the paid structures. Paid means having 2 paid will be presenting. So here 6 That means 3 are presenting, so here 6 are presenting that are the paid cartilage, that is arytenoids, corniculates and fusiformed, and unpaid structures or unpaid cartilages are a thyroid cartilage, an epiglottis as well as cricoid. So this is a cricoid. These are the 3 types of an unpaid structure. So that here we are having totally 9 cartilages are presenting. And also in these 9 cartilages, the thyroid cartilage which is presenting here, it look like in the thyroid due to the presence of a thyroid cartilage. Here thyroid cartilage, it is more prominent in the males than the females. So here due to the presence of a thyroid cartilage in males, it is a more prominent. That more prominent, this is the part where we can call as the thyroid cartilage. This thyroid cartilage appears in the form of an Adam's apple. It is called as Adam's apple. So this Adam's apple, what is Adam's apple means? In the thyroid cartilage, that means in the larynx, due to the presence of thyroid cartilage, it is more prominent in the males than the females. So that a more prominent structure which is appearing, that is called as, this is the region where it is called as the Adam's apple. Due to the presence of the Adam's apple is more prominent in males. That means in males we can clearly visible. In males we can clearly visible the Adam's apple, but in females here it does not be shown. So I means it is less developed in females. In females. In males it is more prominent due to the presence of a thyroid cartilage. So that structure is called as an Adam's apple. And also here in the Adam's apple, here will consist of, in thyroid will having the presence of the vocal cords are presenting. Due to the presence of the vocal cords, here sound is producing. So here it is called as the voice box also. It is also called as the voice box, and also it is connected, the trachea is connected to the larynx, the larynx is connected to the trachea. It is connected to the trachea, where here the it is also a muscular tube-like structure. It is a muscular tube-like structure, tube-like structure where it consists of 16 to 20 a C-shaped cartilages. It consists of an 16 to 20 C-shaped cartilages are presenting, where it is presenting behind the esophagus. It is presenting by means when food is passing through this, here these are made up of cartilage. Why means if they are not made up of cartilage, due to the more pressure, the cartilage that is the trachea may be damaged. So due to the more pressure, that means when food passes into the esophagus, it is present behind the esophagus. When food is passing, it helpful for the pressure is applying on the esophagus, so that what happens, it prevents the damage of, it is made up of, that means the trachea is made up of C-shaped hyaline cartilages. It is made up of a C-shaped hyaline cartilages. It is made up of a C-shaped hyaline cartilages, where here we are having a 16 to 20 a C-shaped. What means, why it is made up of cartilage means, here when food passes through the esophagus, here pressure is applying. Due to the pressure, the cartilages may be damaged. So due to this, here these are made up of a C-shaped hyaline cartilages. And also here this trachea is again is divided into two branches. the trachea is divided. The trachea is divided into two branches. It is divided into two branches called as bronchioles or bronchi. These are divided into a bronchi. That two bronchs are enters into the chest cavity. That is, the two bronchs are divided, enters into the lungs in the chest cavity. So that two bronchi which is divided, the trachea is divided into two branches. That branches are called as a bronchi. From the bronchi, here it is developed into the bronchial tree. It is developed into the bronchi. The bronchi is divided. Bronchi is divided into a bronchial tree. Bronchial tree means here it is divided into primary, a secondary and a tertiary bronchi. That means the bronchi tree, the bronchial tree is divided into a primary, a secondary and the tertiary bronchioles or bronchioles, where tertiary bronchi will having the structures are called as the alveoli or the air sacs are presenting. That means a tertiary bronchi will having a balloon shape or a grape-like structures are presenting. That grape-like structures which are presenting, we can call them as alveoli, where in these alveoli is helpful for the exchanging of gases. So here the trachea is divided into, that means the trachea is connected to the trachea is connected to the bronchi. The bronchi will enter into the two lungs. So up to this bronchi we can call as a conducting zone, where here easily helpful for the passage of or common, it is meant for the passaging or a movement of air from nostrils to the lungs, or from lungs to the nostrils. Here easily helpful for passaging of the air only. So these are called as a conducting zones. And so here these bronchi, that is the bronchial tree is divided into a primary bronchi. Here how it is divided into, the tree is divided into primary, a secondary, the primary branch, secondary branch and a tertiary branches. So here also it is divided into primary, a secondary and a tertiary. And from tertiary will having a balloon-like structures are presenting. They are called as the alveoli, where here these alveoli are called as the structural and functional units of the lungs. Why means these always, this bronchi is divided, is present in the lungs only, where it is divided into a primary, secondary and a tertiary. So here in the alveoli the exchanging of gases are taken place, so we can call as the structural and functional units of the lungs. So up to this, this is called as a conducting zone. So in a next class, we will discuss about the respiratory zone. In the respiratory zone, first we will discuss the structure of the, in this only having only one, that is a structure of the lungs and how the exchanging of gases are taken place, that will be discussed. That means how when air enters into the alveoli, here exchanging are taken place, so that here alveoli are called as the structural and functional units of the lungs, we can call them as. So that will be discussed, that is the structure of the lungs, that will be discussed in the next class.